Hello, students. As you all have studied about cell in earlier classes, that our body is made up of many small units called as cells. Now, in detailed, we will discuss about the cell in this chapter. This is class 9th, chapter number 5, fundamental unit of life. This lecture is based on cell in the book of NCERT class 9th and other references submitted by the honorable lecturer, researcher and other students on internet. Purpose to develop general awareness about the fundamental and structure unit of life. Editing by me, this is Bhaskar Sharma. Now the first we can say that the cell is the smallest unit of matter that can carry on all the process of life. Both living and non-living things are composed of molecules made from chemical elements such as carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. We know that. The organization of these molecules into cell is one feature that distinguishes living things from all other matter. Okay. Now the cell was first discovered and named by English scientist Robert Hooke in 1665. However, what Hooke actually showed was the dead cell wall of plant cell, that is cock, as it appeared under the microscope. Hooke's description of these cells was published in Micrographia in London in 1665. This is very important. The plant of first discovered cell, that is cock. Discoverer is English scientist Robert Hooke in 1665, and the book of Hooke, that is Micrographia. Okay, this is cell which shot by Robert Hooke, and that is a microscope developed by the Antony von Leeuwenhoek. While they studying a slice of cock, Robert Hooke observed honeycomb-like pattern and coined the term cellula. The Latin word is cellula, and which means a little room. You understand that? He speak loudly, cellula, cellula, and the Latin word cellula, which means a little room. The first man to witness a live cell. So we can say that the dead cell discovered by the Robert Hooke, and the first man to witness a live cell under a microscope was Antony von Leeuwenhoek, who in 1674 described the algae Spirogyra. Antony von Leeuwenhoek probably also saw bacteria, euglena, sperms, egg and blood corpuscles of invertebrates in 1683. Antony von Leeuwenhoek is a father of microbiology, or we can say father of bacteriology. Okay. Then after 1831, Robert Brown, a Scottish botanist, discovered a little sphere-like structure in the cells of the orchid root in 1831. Later he named is nucleus. So nucleus discovered by Robert Brown. And after discovering of nucleus, we can say there are two type of cells, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. But now this is the discovery phase. So the gel-like structure present in all living cells was termed protoplasm. This is very important. Protoplasm is a gel-like structure and present in all living cells. It's termed protoplasm by Hugo von Mohl in 1838 and Johns Purkinje. This is 1839. The John Purkinje is a very important. The question is, the question is, who term who gives term protoplasm of a gel-like structure? The answer is Purkinje. Okay. Now Haeckel, 1866, reported that the nucleus is responsible for the storing and transmitting heredity characters. So this is very important. Haeckel, 1866, discovered that the nucleus is responsible for the heredity. Okay. Now Huxley say 1868 called protoplasm the physical basis of life. So what is physical basis of life? This is protoplasm. Now Jacob Matthias Schleiden, this is German botanist, in 1838, and German zoologist Theodor Swan in 1839 independently asserted that all animals and plants are made up of the cell. This is cell theory. The joint finding form the concept of the cell theory. The theory states that the cell is the fundamental structural and physiological unit of living organism. Very important definition. The cell is the fundamental structural and physiological unit of the living organism. Okay, now in 1855, German biologist Rudolf Virchow gave a generalization stating omnis cellula is cellula. It is very popular statement of Rudolf Virchow. That is, cell arise from pre-existing cell. He says that, what say? The cell arise from pre-existing cells. Now the cell theory consists of these principles. The first, all living organisms are composed of cells or cell product. You can comment me what is the means of the cell product. Okay, that is unicellular cell organism or multicellular cell. Second, all new cells arise as a result of division of the pre-existing cells. Okay. Now third, cell is the structure and functional unit of all organism. The cell is the structure and functional unit of all organism. Now fourth is, all cells are basically alike in chemical composition and metabolic process. The question is, what is the means of metabolic process? And the fifth, the function of an organism as a whole is the outcome of the combined activities and interaction of the constituent cell. That is very important point. So we have discussed here about the history of the cell, how a man discovered a cell. The discoverer is Robert Hooke, then after Antony von Leeuwenhoek, and then after very important discovery by the Robert Brown, and the term protoplasm given by Purkinje, and after Haeckel say the heredity characteristic of nucleus, and then Huxley called the protoplasm the physical basis of life, and the Schleiden and Swan independently assert that all animals and plants are made up of the cell. This is the generation of the cell theory. And then after modification in the cell theory by Rudolf Virchow in 1855 gave a generalization statement that omnis cellula is cellula, that is, cell arise the pre-existing cell. We can also say that cell theory consists of the 5 principles: the composition of the cell and cell product, new cell arise from the division of the pre-existing cell, the cell is a structure and functional unit, and all cells are basically alike in a chemical composition and metabolic process, and the function of an organism as a whole in the outcome of the combined activities and interactions of the constituent cell. Now the questions are, the cell was discovered by, first question, the answer you will give me by the comments. The cell theory proposed by, nucleus discovered by, cell theory modified by, the term protoplasm coined by, and living cell discovered by. Thank you, students. All the best.